Welcome to the Impact Your Fitness podcast, a part of the Think Fit, Be Fit network. My name is Jennifer Schwartz, and today I'm going to discuss some relevant tips and blind spots for chronic pain recovery, supporting your body while shifting from a lot of muscle tightness to gaining strength, or improving performance after sports injuries. All three of these types of clients that I've worked with have a lot in common. The tips and suggestions of this episode are aimed at highlighting the blind spots I've seen over the years that halt our clients' progress. In my 12 years as a neuromuscular therapist, a muscle activation techniques specialist, and athletic training specialist, I know how to get active people and athletes to fully recover and optimize their body to better than ever. The body being better than it was before. If you are like my clients, you are intelligent and intellectually curious about your physical health. And ironically, that could make you vulnerable to overanalyzing your way into isolation, financial burden, and in a never ending cycle of trying to figure things out instead of actually healing and getting better. Something that should take 4 months can end up costing you a year of time and a lot of frustration. And these tips are really designed to stop that horrible, deleterious cycle. So, if we are creating more problems in the pursuit of wellness, that's the issue. I hate seeing people in this cycle. Truly, we at Impact Your Fitness want to see people thriving quickly. In order to do that, I propose we look outside of the logical brain, where solutions are purely mechanical approaches to chronic pain, tightness, and injury recovery, and into a more holistic approach with the muscle system and strength in mind. So I'm not saying it all has to be energy work, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we can do all of those things. We can do the emotional healing, the spiritual upgrading, and the exercise get stronger approach to getting better. This episode just takes us into an entirely different realm of what is exercise, and what is exercise without discomfort and fitness that feels good. A question that drives so many people into the studio. I'm sharing ideas that exist in this world of molecular physiology and the complexity of how biological systems are self-organizing. So take a breath there, because that's a kind of a big statement. And I'll say this to support and back it up. Casual theories on how we are one with the universe are pretty much trite. But I assure you, our biases towards the world of how our muscles work, being only as a physical substance, is guiding many of you down a path of chasing rabbits. The theory I want to explore with my clients, and that I do explore with my clients, is complexity theory woven together with relativity and quantum mechanics. And this tells us a totally different story of how we can keep getting injured or stay in a cycle of tightness and pretty much autoimmunity or muscles, like hypermobility muscles. It tells us a different story. And that is oneness is real and separation is real, like isolating muscles and getting stronger is also real. And that they are also complementary. The full comprehension of reality of our perception is complex, and it's totally relevant to getting out of these cycles of discomfort and pain with exercise and into a process of being your strongest, most ultimate self. If we don't want to end up like our parents, giving in to basic and harmful conventional methods that is really aging and being comfortable. So being comfortable and the pursuit of comfort is aging. Dr. Gary Breck said that. He says it a lot, I think. So it takes this philosopher's mindset. And that's what this podcast network is here for. So let me get into the tangible takeaways of this important topic. And that's the combination of science, complexity theory, and muscle physiology. And this is what gets our clients over the hills and on their wellness and recovery and fitness journeys. If you are stuck with muscle tightness, chronic fatigue, continuous loops of exercising only to get more trigger points, here's my advice for you. Stop chasing around trigger points in an attempt to solve your issues. Trigger points and tight muscles are actually contracted muscles that are incapable of producing ATP, which is energy, the right kind of energy for keeping a muscle ready to go and balanced. That's very oversimplification, but we'll just leave it at that. This is why I always suggest things like increasing your ability to produce ATP if you want the long-term results. The idea that you can solve your problems with trigger point release, I don't believe that that's true. And I have just anecdotal experience in 3 different ways to paint that picture. And I would love to do a whole episode on this. So I'm always suggesting things that promote ATP production, which is red light therapy and oxygen enhancing modalities, hydration, reducing chronic sympathetic activity, which is like chill out, and bringing calm and safety to the body instead of foam rolling and dry needling. Just the calm and safety and parasympathetic activity and sympathetic nervous system activity doesn't align with foam rolling and dry needling. Even walking is a good solution for helping your body release these knots because it actually promotes blood flow and won't hurt anything or make things worse or create learned helplessness like I think many of these methods do. So this habit of dry needling and foam rolling is just basically it's nothing productive. And if you don't end up making your tissue worse off, you are increasing your pain tolerance to these motions and randomly smashing tissues, which might be a huge problem in the abdomen area or your diaphragm or your sternum. Anyways, so I'll leave it at that. Those are my takeaway tips for those folks. If you are overcoming chronic pain, I'd say stop chasing pain and tightness. The more we focus on what we don't want, the more we usher it into reality. So a simplification of this is a quest to become pain-free is just the wrong target. A sole target can actually lead to more problems when you have an issue that's reoccurring like this. This is another unfortunate consequence of the medical system's obsession with eliminating pain at all costs. So the solution if you're working with me in our studio is to take a rehab holiday if your pain is not debilitating and you have full function of your body. Just take a break. That could help recenter and refocus what needs to be done. And I'll just leave it there. I'd say another really important thing is pick an achievable lifestyle goal instead of eliminating the problem or just creating a lot of fear in your, aura in your body. I had this conversation today with someone and she said, I'm afraid of losing what we've gained. Well, I said, it's more important for you to have a lifestyle goal. Focus on something you can control and do every day that is cost-free, something that will help your body heal and rest better. If we pick an achievable lifestyle goal instead of eliminating, the goal of eliminating the problem or finding the root cause, this doesn't mean this won't get addressed. Ironically, changing the target works brilliantly. You have a great team, you have great methods. just trust that process and work, focus on that thing you can change every day, which is like breathing habits, getting better sleep, improving your digestion. All these things are going to help your problems, and you're not creating more fear and like chasing around this thing and creating more credibility to your consciousness for with it. And so that's a big part of the solution, I think, even more important than taking a rehab holiday. I mean, I have seen that work for people as well. They're just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna start strength training and walking every day," and magically, like, their shoulder pain goes away because it, like, brought it doesn't mean the MAT didn't work or the PT didn't work. It's like it all came together because you relaxed. So the other thing, this is really important, and I say it's really hard to talk to people about this as well, which is toss out your old beliefs and taper yourself off of chasing pain. Just like cleaning a messy room is necessary to function in the household, cleaning out your mind and habits of with the old beliefs is necessary to create a new exercise experience. And here's a quote from Louise Hay in You Can Heal Your Life, just a matriarch of emotional and spiritual healing. Would you really dig into yesterday's garbage to make tonight's meal? Do you dig into old mental garbage to create tomorrow's experiences? If a thought or belief does not serve you, let it go. There is no written law that says that what you once believed, you have to continue to believe it forever. And that really goes for, I have pain, I have a disc disease, I have a disc problem, I have a hip with tears. Like the more that you identify with these problems, the more it is a problem, basically. So your new belief, instead of thinking about the tears in your hip, can be about how your muscles are getting stronger and trigger points or knots, or the return of pain. It's all temporary, and there's no need to give it more time and energy. This is probably the most difficult and most like self-organizing dominant tip in this episode. Like the body will reorganize itself to confirm these beliefs. I truly believe that and practice that. I think it's really hard for our clients to accept that their pain is beyond what goes on in their individual awarenesses of what hurts and why it hurts. All of our experiences are very personal. They are within multiple areas of consciousness, too. An apt way to think about this is thinking of how a surfer rides a wave. The wave seems like an independent structure that has a lot of power. Waves are not separate from each other, and it only gives us a moment before it returns to the ocean's wholeness. In a similar way, our own individual consciousness and experiences seem to be very much our own. But this sense of independence is an illusion. Our mind lies within space and time that transduces emotions into electromagnetic waves in the ether and has a large level of consciousness. You can call it in, whatever you want to happen, just as Louise Hay would say. So, yeah, one way to not waste your time is to actually believe you're going to get better. That's a really short way of saying all this stuff. So, this means we can form an entire story and reality based on our perception of what's happening in our body. We must change the personal story and our identity around chronic health issues to change them, even if the empirical scientific evidence favors our pain and illness, because that can change too. Here's my last tip. And before I get into that, I want to give a shout out to holyhydrogen.com and the Lord's Hydro Fix. If I didn't use it myself, I would not be talking about this on the worldwide podcast web. I truly believe in like how hydrogen can, create so much health. It works as a selective antioxidant when you breathe it in or when you drink it in. It hydrates your body. It it helps modulate inflammation. You keep the good, get rid of the bad, and it's so gentle and it's so effective. So if you want to hear more about that, check out the show notes. We have a discount code ThinkFit100 over at holyhydrogen.com for their amazing molecular hydrogen machine. Okay, so here we're going on to the last tip. And also, molecular hydrogen and athletic performance is just the research is unbelievable how much it can improve performance and decrease recovery time. So, sports injuries, getting into the parasympathetic nervous system activity is way better for you than foam rolling or attempting to stretch your way out of tightness. Some athletes sign up for yoga on their recovery days. This is not a guarantee of recovery if you aren't able to relax, get into the flow state, and get into the flow with your brain and your nervous system. You can't outstretch your like high intensity mindset and like stressed out energy. You can't. So the solutions here, grounding, appropriate sunlight, and breath work are my favorite suggestions for athletes. In some cases, cold water exposure is also a good idea. A 2015 study published in the Journal of Sports Medicine found that athletes could ground after training to decrease muscle soreness and muscle damage from eccentric training. Basically, free electrons from the earth can act as antioxidants that assist in the healing process of training. This study used 32 male college athletes. They exercised and then grounded for 4 hours afterwards. This was a double-blind study that used blood markers to confirm the decreased muscle damage in the grounding group. I guess athletes should be doing their homework outside barefoot. 4 hours is a pretty long time. The students used electrical devices during the course of the 3-day study and abstained from alcohol and additional exercise. Interestingly enough, there is other evidence that a yoga session after eccentric exercise increased muscle soreness. So I pick grounding and sunlight over yoga for athletic recovery. Okay, I have lied. This is my last one. Unresolved inflammation and subclinical inflammation, that's what it's called in the literature, subclinical inflammation, can really hinder our sports injuries, recovery. And this can impinge on recovery overall for any of these populations I spoke of, but it doesn't get talked about enough for athletes, which is why I'm bringing it up now. This, basically unresolved inflammation can cause the body and muscles to be like unable to tolerate force. You become weaker if you have a lot of inflammation. The solution is take away excessive exercise, and excessive plyometrics, take out excessive stretching and anything that could add to inflammation. And if you're lucky enough to have an MAT specialist near you, muscle activation techniques, start getting treatments of MAT for your athletic career. You will save money in the long run. It's way more effective at preventing injury than massage Anyways, so takeaways today, friends. I'm almost done. Don't build a wall between the logical mind and the physical body. Just talk therapy can't solve all your problems. And just like intellectualizing your physical ailments isn't enough. The body, mind, and emotional self are these subconscious. They're all one. And they are also all a bigger consciousness of the interactions of you and everything in your surroundings. Number 2 takeaway, solving our problems with discoveries of philosophical theories and biological science can dispel our own myths. So get out of your own shit. And finding the source of our consciousness is key to finding our way out of troubling cycles of what we don't want, whether that be crappy exercise and performance or heartbreak from life's complications. Don't let these blind spots of logic block you from real progress. So, to learn more about how to do this, check out my online store where we have a customized hypnotic track for just this, changing and getting over your injuries. And I also have a course on exercise mechanics that will help you get out of your head and into the science of movement at jennifersimoneschwartz.com. You can check the show notes for related episodes on these topics. And if you're in Alexandria, Virginia, or anywhere in Northern Virginia or DC, you can come visit us at the studio in Alexandria at impactyourfitness.net. Thank you so much for investing in your body and trusting Impact Your Fitness with your knowledge quest and physical wellness. Have a strong, fit week and Happy New Year.